Oh, wait, we're going live now?
Yeah. Welcome to episode 40 of, what's that, 10, 20, 30, 40, episode 40 of Real Talk with a Vulnerable Angel and Friends. I am your host, the Vulnerable Angel, Dominica May. Our topic this week is fantasies and fears about the future. I'll go into that a little bit more detail after I introduce my guests, which are my usual guests, Mike and Shard. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
And yeah, so if this is your first time watching one of these streams, what we do is we just like to have deep personal conversations, generally around a specific topic these days. That's not how we started, but like to keep it to kind of more narrow view points or like topics nowadays. And so fantasies and fears about the future. I was thinking about like how sometimes like our fantasies about the future or like catastrophizing about the future can impact how we live our lives in the present. And I just thought that would be an interesting topic to discuss this week, especially as I'm kind of future focused, but I have no idea what the fuck is going on. At the moment as well, like I'm just like leap of faith time, we'll see what happens. So that's why I went with the topic this week.
Cool beans.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. And if you are not watching live, you're always welcome to leave comments or questions for us in the comments section. If you are watching live, feel free to interact with us in the chat section. We do love to have audience interaction as well. All right, shall we get started, guys, with our questions? Okay, so our questions today come from ChatGPT, as per usual. I don't think I wrote any of these
Hey,
ones.
Dominica,
Guess what?
what's our first question?
First question is what's a future you once fantasized about so vividly it felt real, and how did it shape your choices then?
Well, when I was younger, and I've told this story many, many times on this podcast. When I was younger, there was a girl that I obsessed over. And hopefully it wasn't in like a creepy, obsessive kind of a way. It was just one of those things that like I liked her so much. And despite my best efforts to try and forget about her and date other people, I just couldn't get her out of my mind. Everyone I ever dated, I would compare to her. And it was unfair, totally unfair to the person that I was dating. But I mean, the heart wants what the heart wants, right? So for years, I fantasized about what our life would be like together. And what I didn't know at the time, and it took me 14 years to realize this, the future that I fantasized with her was not a likely outcome. In fact, it wasn't just not a likely outcome, it was a complete fabrication of what could have been, right? So the choices that I made at the time were always with the hope that my current situation is temporary. And I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going to end up with her. And I would always make these choices that would stop my progress with anyone else, or just not relationship wise, but like just like general life stuff. Um, uh, like I used to live in Ireland for a few years, and there was a point where I was thinking, hey, maybe I'll move back. And I decided not to because that would take me away, even further away from her, right?
Mm.
She lived in Pennsylvania. I lived in New York City. It's a really long distance, like 7-hour drive between the two places. So, I mean, like, might as well have lived in Europe, right? But in my mind, it was just like, it was so much further. Whatever chance I had would have just been that much more difficult to attain. But yeah, like I said, it was a false equivalent. So, but that's how I made my choices back then. It was always with her in mind.
Wow.
Maybe not always, but
But no, but like as of no, that's still frequent. Like,
yeah.
That's cute.
any thoughts shared about the?
It's not. It really is not.
Cute for some, stalking to others. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, one thing that really sticks to mind, I think I must have been, gosh, I don't know, maybe like 9 or 10, around there. And my mom had sewn me this superhero outfit, which I called Stupendous Man.
Nice.
It was, I remember I still remember what it was. It was like a red mask, a blue shirt and trousers and a red cape. And I remember I would run around and pretend that, I was doing all this incredible stuff. And my mother warned me. She was like, you have to be careful when you're running around like that. I'm like, why? She's like, well, when you wear this suit, you have all these abilities, you have all these powers. And what happens if you break something or you hurt someone? And I remember just going like, that can happen? And she's like, yeah, you have to be very, very careful.
Yeah.
I just remember after that, even though I would still run around and do whatever, I was always super careful not to actually bump into someone or hurt something. So, and I remember like for years after that, I would always look back and just go, good job, Mom.
I was just thinking, what an amazing way to get you to behave.
I so appreciate that. Because
Yeah.
there's that whole thing of like, hey, stop running around. You're going to break something. But like putting yourself in the position of your kid and allowing yourself to play along with what they believe.
Yeah.
And create the reality even more for
Mhm.
them to understand this bigger principle. What an inspired thing that was.
And it got me to behave.
Yeah.
While I was still in
Exactly.
in the fantasy. Exactly. Yeah.
That's so cool.
amazing. I love that story.
Man.
Wow.
Stupendous Man as well. Great name.
No, that is a great name. Like it's more awesome than Superman. Like Stupendous sounds like more amazing than Superman. Stupendous.
And with superhero name, well, not superheroes, but like supervillain names like the Condiment King. Like I'm surprised that Stupendous Man wasn't like a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
They literally created 2 different heroes named Captain Marvel. So, like, Stupendous Man is not that far of a stretch.
Yeah. How has that not happened yet? For real.
Let's make it happen. Let's put it out on Fiverr. See if anyone's interested in making it a comic book or get picked up by a producer. We'll see what happens.
Make it happen, Captain.
There you go. All right, for me, for this question, okay, this is a struggle for me. I don't know if you're aware of this. I learned this while having to fill out the forms for my son's autism evaluation. That apparently, autistic individuals find it very hard to perceive the future or like think about their goals and stuff for the future, especially like long-term goals. Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or like I remember like when my son was going through his evaluation, one of the things that he was asked was like, do you want to get married, and he's like not even thinking about that. And I'm like, he's what, like 7 or something at the time. Like, why should a 7-year-old know whether or not he wants to get married? Like, that's crazy. But going through that has like, I'm like, oh man, you know what? I don't feel like I have really had very many, like, I've had fantasies about the future, but I don't think that they've been so vivid that they've felt real. To the extent that it's impacted my choices or whatever. There have been some that have been more like not vivid, but all like the thing that came to mind for me for this, which was not vivid, but did kind of shape my choices, was around the time, it's like 2015, I think. So little less than a year after moving here, my ex-husband wanted his then girlfriend to move in with us. And I wasn't really initially okay with it, but in order to talk myself into it, into being okay with it, I thought about how I would feel if my ex-husband's and my roles were reversed. Like, how would I feel if I had a partner that I wanted to move in with us? And in order for me to think about that, I thought about my previous ex in Malaysia, because he was someone that I saw a future with when we were together. He was someone that I wanted to have that kind of long-term relationship with, and had even thought about like trying to get him to move to California and stuff to be with us. So like that fantasy of having that life for myself was what shaped my decision to agree to letting my ex-husband move his then girlfriend in with us. So that's my answer.
Interesting.
You're a braver person than I am. I don't think I could ever do that.
Well, look, polyamory is not where I'm at today, but that's kind of what worked for us at the time. And I did a lot of self-gaslighting in order to work around to be okay with things. So yeah,
fascinating,
interesting.
Yeah.
Next question.
All right. Our next question is on the catastrophizing note. Have you ever catastrophized about the future only to find reality turned out very differently?
Well,
can this be like a very specific example?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the one that obviously comes to mind is when I was in my 20s, job interviews, right? And like I remember just being thinking, oh, I'm so underprepared. What if they don't like me? What if I say the wrong thing? Blah 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 blah. And for days and days and days, especially the morning of, I'm just like, I'm so tightly wound up, and I look like I've just had 20 coffees, and I'm just like, what? And literally during the interview itself, perfect, really, really well. Everyone seems to like me, and I later get the job. But like, yeah, like, because this is when I was applying for Astra, which is the Malaysian kind of film network that has all these different channels. Yeah, exactly. And I was terrified. I was like, what if my buttons are going to be put alternatively? What if they ask me a question? I'm just going, what if I insult them? And it just went great. It just went really great. I remember just walking out afterwards, out from the main entrance before going back to the car park, just standing there, just going, like, what was all that about? So yeah.
Dominica?
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't think that I had anything for this one, but for whatever reason, what Sharon said jogged my memory, which is like not even related to what he said. But I would say, as I previously mentioned, my previous ex in the last scenario. So he was somebody in Malaysia, and after moving here, he ghosted me. You guys have heard the story before, but if you're new to the channel, you don't know. And so when he ghosted me, I had like ongoing dreams, like genuinely, like while I was asleep. I would dream about trying, like going back to Malaysia and trying to track him down to talk to him to find out like why he'd ghosted me. And like all the time, like I wouldn't see his face, or he'd run away from me, or like that kind of thing. So like that was kind of my catastrophizing uh what I expected to happen if I ever went back to Malaysia to like try and talk to him, or even like if I just ran into him when I went back. And it was one of the reasons why I took so long before I did go back again. It's like 9 years later, or 9 years and a couple of months later. And yeah, and then so how did it turn out in reality? I had a good friend of mine, Sim, who has been on my live streams before. He organized a welcome back dinner for me, and invited my ex, not knowing that we had any history and not knowing that we were not in communication with each other. And so rather than him running away at the sight of me, he actually came along without me reaching out to him or anything. So it was very, very different from my catastrophizing expectation.
Sim's a great guy.
He is, yeah.
This was hard for me to think of something. My knee-jerk reaction was to go political, but I don't want to go political.
But why? So
I know it doesn't matter. Politics don't matter.
It's fine. The only person watching right now is my dad. It's okay.
So I'm gonna go with. So we all know that I lived in Ireland for a few years as a Mormon missionary, and when I came home back to Pennsylvania, all my friends, because I was gone for like 2 years, so all my friends had spent 2 years in college, and now they're juniors in college. They're in their third year of undergrad. And I'm just trying to figure out what to do with my life. Like, what's my next step? Probably going to go to college, which I did, but I so desperately wanted to get into the arts and entertainment and acting and comedy and, filmmaking, all that stuff. And my parents just wouldn't go for it. And so there was a moment that I felt like such a fucking loser. I thought that I was going to be doomed to like working at McDonald's for like the next 20 years. Not McDonald's specifically, but like that kind of idea, the idea of just being stuck, having hopes and dreams, and not being able to do anything with them because you have to pay rent. And the only way you can the only job you can get is working at Walmart, that kind of a thing. So I really, and this went on for, I don't know, a few months. I really thought that this was going to be my life. I'm going to live with my parents. I'm going to be that 40-year-old dummy who just lives with his parents and works a dead-end job for nothing. He's not working towards anything. But as we all know, the future turned out very, very differently for me at the time, and I love my life. I've got a great life. I get to work in the arts. I've traveled the world. Um, I have a kid on the way. I met the most amazing woman that I now get to call my wife and my best friend. We have the two most incredible cats on the planet. I get to live in my favorite city in the world. Fuck, I have a TV show. So, like, I don't know. Life has a funny way of surprising you, but the difference is the thing is that you have to make choices. That was the case for me. You have to make choices, and you have to be open to make choices, whatever those choices are. Because, like, I still haven't attained the thing that I wanted when I was 5 years old, and that's okay. But, like, I feel like I'm on a path, and if it never happens, it never happens, and that's fine. But it's not having the tree house, it's building the tree house and the time it takes to build the tree house.
Yeah.
It's memorable. It's the journey that's fun.
Yeah.
So.
You know, when you were talking about the kind of life that you were catastrophizing happening, made me think, like, I feel like that could have been my future had my mum not passed away and forced me to make different choices about my life, because I absolutely, like, I mean, I was 21 and living with my mum still when she passed away, and I was quite content doing that and not really, like, working towards anything. I mean, I'd finished my university degree and was working on a graduate diploma, but, like, I honestly did not really want to work at all. I didn't feel like a grown up. I even though, like, I had a IT, like, vacation job for a while, so I had, like, on the job experience in my degree field. It wasn't really what I wanted to do, because I wanted to be a filmmaker, really. That's, or, you know, something more creative than, but, like, my mum pressured me into doing something sciencey or engineering based. So yeah, I was like, if I'd continued on the path and was still able to live with my mum indefinitely, I think I would not have been forced into the position where I, you know, my life turned out very differently. Now, granted, that didn't mean I ended up in the workplace. It meant that I married young so someone else could take care of me. And I had kids at a young age, like in my 20s, which doesn't seem to be as common for people nowadays. And even when I did, like in the early 2000s.
But you made choices. You made choices that got you to a different place. Sorry, you made choices that changed your circumstance. And it doesn't matter what your circumstance was. Maybe your circumstance was awesome. Maybe it sucked. But you made choices that put you in a place that gave you an opportunity to make new choices.
Yeah, but I think, like, this is also, like, this has reminded me, like, another thing that I catastrophized about my future is that I would die alone because nobody is attracted to me. Which was why one of the choices I made was marry the first person who seems to be really into me. So yeah, that, even though it wasn't like a great marriage and stuff, like, that reality still turned out very differently than how I catastrophized, which was being alone and single forever. So yeah, I had lots of God, I feel like I've had more catastrophizing about my future impacting me than I've had fantasies impacting me. But one of the things, there's no questions in the list from ChatGPT about catastrophizing stopping us from making choices about the future. I don't think we have any questions like that. But maybe that's something for us to dwell on and
I mean,
discuss
I know a
later
lot
on.
of people who make choices based on fear. If I can get personal for a moment, my mom desperately needs knee surgery, and there's many reasons. There's multiple reasons why she isn't getting knee surgery, but 10 years ago, when she had the best chance of getting knee surgery, she didn't want to do it because of the possibility of what might go wrong, as opposed to what might go right.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I feel like it's really common to get stuck in that like catastrophizing mindset. Like it's more common, I think, than like goal setting and like a positive like idea about the future.
yeah.
Well,
Um,
you know what they say, we always remember the bad and we ignore the good.
yeah, yeah.
So,
That was definitely one of the influencing factors of why my marriage broke down. My ex-husband was very good at acknowledging all of the negative qualities about me and never acknowledging the good qualities.
I
All
think
right.
about that in terms of personal hygiene from time to time, where like sometimes there's days that I'm just like, nah, I'm not going to take a shower because I just don't want to. I hate taking showers. I love being clean. I love having that refreshed feeling. I just hate the process of showering. So, like the other day, I bumped into one of my neighbors down in the lobby and I gave him a huge hug. And I thought to myself after the hug, like I got in the elevator and went back upstairs, but I thought to myself, is he like, you don't remember the interactions that you have with people where they showered? But you do remember the interactions that you have with people where they smell a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
there you go.
Yep. All right. My dad is, as I said, is watching. He left us one comment so far. He
Right.
says, "Stupendous Man does exist in one of Calvin and Hobbes' comics, Alter Ego." So check Google if
I
you
think
want
that's
to.
maybe where I got it from.
That's where you got it from.
That must have been where I got it from. Calvin and
That's
Hobbes.
cool.
All
That's really
right.
cool.
Next question.
Question.
What's the biggest decision you've made? Oh, okay. I guess it's kind of what I was saying. What's the biggest decision you've made based more on fear of the future than on present reality?
Huh. That's an interesting question because it's the premise of the question is the antithesis of how my decision making happens in my life. I genuinely try to live my life in a way that I don't regret the decisions that I make.
Yeah, like we were discussing last week.
Yeah. So
Yeah, this is why the only thing that I could think of for this particular question is related to the main regret-ish thing that I discussed last week, in that like my present reality, January of last year was I was having a great time in it was a situationship, but it felt like more than that. And we clicked so well together. Things seemed to be fine for the most part, but I let fear creep in, and fear that he didn't want to have something serious with me. It was too hard for me to kind of bring up the topic of a committed relationship, and So I made a bunch of assumptions, and then the decision to be like, oh, well, I guess this is where we want different things or whatever. This is the same Malaysian ex that I mentioned earlier, because we got back together. And so, yeah, that's the only thing I can think of, because the present reality with him was things were great, but I made a decision based on fear of what, like, of the pain that could happen if I never got the kind of relationship that I eventually wanted to have with him.
Hmm.
What about you, Mike?
I'm having a hard time with this. I think the best example I can think of is deciding not to eat broccoli because it well with me, and it fucks up my. I think broccoli and Brussels sprouts, and I love broccoli and I love Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts, but I can't have them anymore because it triggers an IBS response in my digestive system,
Oh, that sucks.
and it's rough. So I mean, maybe that's the biggest decision I make based on fear of the future.
Just don't eat Brussels sprouts. Is that pretty much it?
Yeah, I'm afraid of IBS symptoms, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to eat the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair.
That's fair.
That's the best example that I can think of right now.
I think for me, ever since I started becoming a lot more independent following my illness, my plan has always been to return back to the United States to pursue a career. However, again, as Mike said, I don't want to get too political, but it's come to a point where I mean, getting an international visa is going to be difficult enough. But we were, I was talking about this with my family, and we were saying that was it really a safe option? Not to say that America's not safe, but just from someone with, from someone from my background, let's say walking about, and depending on where I am, because we haven't pinpointed that yet, whether we would get a visa, whether we would, what issues might pop up. So far, I've just been waiting. So yeah.
Waiting until it seems like a better time to come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I have people over there who have been very, very kind. They've been saying, "Oh, listen, we'll sponsor you because we go way back." And I'm not. It's not as if I'm worried the Gestapo will like knock on my door and put me away in handcuffs. But it's to a point where, as well, it just doesn't feel like a place I want to be. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, but do you feel like that's, like, I kind of feel like that is a little bit based on present reality of the stories that have been coming out of the United
Yeah.
States right now, though, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying that like goes against this question, but I think that that's, you know, it along those lines, it's I do think it's easier to make decisions based on fear of the future that is also based in present reality.
Okay, so here's one for you. This isn't me, but this is a friend of mine, and he is. I'm not going to say what his name is because it's not the most flattering of stories. He is easily one of the most talented people I've ever met, and he doesn't apply himself. And it's my personal theory. He doesn't advocate for himself. He doesn't create his own opportunities out of a fear of success. And that whole thing of like, what are you talking about? Fear of success. It's just the more successful you are, the more responsibility you have, the more pressure gets put on you. And I think a wonderful example of this is the new John Candy documentary that hasn't come out yet, but the trailer dropped for it yesterday. It's called I Like Me, like the story of John Candy, and how one of the points that they bring up in the documentary, well, in the trailer of the doc, is how because John Candy was such a nice guy, and he really truly cared about everybody around him, and he was a people pleaser. But when you reach a certain level of fame and a certain level of success, you don't get to be a people pleaser anymore, and so that those pressures and those burdens crumble you. And all this is to say that, you know, some of the most talented people I know aren't rising in that notoriety because there is a real true fear of success. And so that's based on something from the future that is not based in the present reality. Because it hasn't happened yet.
That's a good example. Yeah. I've definitely had those like fear of success kind of experiences for sure as well. But yeah, like going back to what I was saying, like it being more common to make decisions that are based in fear of the future because it's based in present reality. And going back to what Sharad was talking about with his desire to move back to the US. I mean, that's a big part of why I have made the decision to leave the US, right? Because my fear of the future of staying here is based on what I see happening in this country right now, right? And even though I like have no idea like what is going to happen in the future in other places, that like the fear of the unknown of that is less scary than the fear of the future of staying here. Right? I feel like there's been a lot of situations in my life that I've made decisions based on that kind of premise, like leaving my marriage, for example. Like I had no idea how I was going to support myself and my kids and like how the divorce was going to turn out or anything like that. But the fear of having no clue how I was going to do anything like that was less scary than staying in the marriage. So like it's like, which fear is worse? I'll make a decision based on the least scary option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, that's the thing. If it's the lesser of two evils, isn't it? Like, so that's terrifying. I can't even imagine what that's like.
Yeah. It's I was telling my last ex in Malaysia in January of last year that it was very much about a leap of faith. And like I asked him, like, do you ever take any leaps of faith in your life? And he was like, no, never. And I'm like, that's exactly what I did with my divorce. And like it was a leap of faith. Like I had no idea what like how things were going to turn out. It was just like taking one step at a time, like as things went on. I'm like, I guess this is the next thing I need to do. And like sometimes you just can't see that far into the future of how things are going to turn out, but you can have like an idea of, well, at least it's going to be better than whatever's happening right now.
That's the thing. The fear of the future is something that I think it's ingrained in all of us. I mean, sure, we tend to romanticize the future, but I think it's almost human nature to fear it as well, because there's always the what if scenario that will multiply exponentially in your mind. So it's tricky because we're always so hopeful as part of our nature, but at the same time, because of our history, we're always thinking, all right, well, this is great. How long is it going to last?
Right. Yeah.
Right? We're always going to self-sabotage ourselves.
Yeah. My last relationship is all about the self-sabotage. Like he and I both were that kind of like fear controlling us at times and letting our minds kind of spiral rather than asking for clarity. when things got tough. Like we're fine aside from those, like like when we weren't in that fear mindset, we were like perfect together. That's what it felt like. But when we started to give into our anxieties and our fears of what could happen in the future, then it's like, I suck, or I want to start self-sabotaging. All right, my dad has another comment for us here in the chat. Catastrophized self-talk tends to come true under the words have power concept. Successful people use goal setting and planning regularly. My mum was always making lists. She became the top engineer. This is the other thing. Catastrophizing leads to self-sabotage because you believe so much that outcome is going to happen, that catastrophizing outcome is going to happen, that you live like it is, and then so it ends up happening as a result of your choices because you expect it to happen. That's and that's exactly what happened in my relationship that I was discussing. Like I was just so scared about destroying the relationship that I destroyed the relationship.
Also known as a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. Yep. Self-fulfilling prophecy. But I think he also did the same thing, so it wasn't just on me. All right. Next question. Next question is what's a fantasy or fear you hold right now about the future, and how does it affect your decisions today? I guess I can continue on from what I was just talking about. How my fear of the future for the US is how it's affecting my decisions today. I'm packing up my shit. I'm planning on skedaddling out of the country. It's happening slower than I was expecting to make it happen, because it's like my house it's a big house and there's a lot of mess in various places because we're an autistic household and we're not very good at executive function stuff, like keeping things tidy. So like one of my things that I was doing today, like I've been packing up all my belongings into boxes and stuff to store it before I before I can have the house ready to put on the market and take people through for open houses and stuff. But I ran out of packing paper this week, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I have to find something else to do until new packing paper arrives for me to start packing things. So I went into my son's room to kind of go through some stuff in there, and like he over the years he's like stuffed old pieces of paper into drawers and things. Like I was getting into his desk today and like, here's some Tupperware that I had thought was missing. Like I'm going to so I ended up loading the dishes that I thought were missing into the dishwasher, like putting that on. And there was like an opened Minecraft Lego set that I'm like, I hope all of the pieces are still there. I should probably build it to make sure. So that was the thing I did today, build a Minecraft Lego set. And yeah, and I guess I don't know. I guess the other thing that's that I've not specifically mentioned about this yet is like the and I don't know if this is a fear so much. It's definitely not a fancy, but it's a possibility, I suppose, that moving back to Malaysia means that I'm likely to run into my Malaysian ex because we have the same circle of friends, and like I say it's not a fear, it's not a fantasy, because I'm more neutral about it now. I'm like, I don't know how things are going to go, and I would prefer not to have any expectations around that. But I am kind of doing what I can to prepare for the possibility of that happening. So like as something to do that, so that I'm not like so there's like so that there's noise that I can listen to while I'm packing, is I've been listening to some old podcast episodes that he's been on, so that I can get more used to hearing his voice again and being like completely emotionally neutral about it, which has been surprisingly fine. Like I think I've surprised myself at how not emotional I've been at listening, right? Like a year ago, I absolutely would have been like still pining for him. It's like, why? But we're so perfect for each other. Because like he does say a bunch of things. I was like, we really were like had so much in common. But now it's like, man, I can see why we were clearly attracted to each other, but I'm fine with whatever happens. And so that's kind of been reassuring for me that that I can handle that now.
Good.
Right. I think one of the things that helped is I went literally months without seeking any of his content out online, on social media or anything at all. And so that distance helped me get back to a more neutral place about my feelings towards him.
So is this a fear or a fantasy?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's more of a neutral. I wouldn't say it's fantasy or fear, but it's more like a likely inevitability that I'm probably going to run into him. And because I don't know how that's going to be, like I'm trying to not have any expectations around it. I don't want to be scared of it, of the possibility. I also don't want to fantasize about a reconciliation because I don't want to get my hopes up.
So how does that affect your decisions today?
Listening to his podcasts to prepare, right, for the possibility. Yeah.
Interesting. Jared?
Oh, geez. I think as we're going on this, it's very annoying for me actually, because I don't know about you two, but whenever I have a fantasy about some sort of future event, it sounds great, but the more I start to think about logistics, it quickly turns from fantasy into fear. Right? So, for example, like ironically, like Dominica and I we're actually hoping to kind of swap geographical positions. But the more I think about it, it's just like, yeah, like obviously with uh, uh, living costs in San Francisco as well, it's not cheap. And from my research, it looks like it might be. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Dominica. Like, just your average spending money, give or take, for about a month, you can easily hit $4,000 just by out and about per month, and that's not including accommodation or
depending
whatever.
on what you're doing.
Yeah. So it's just like, yeah. So just things about that, and then taking that into account, the exchange rate. So obviously, I'd have to be saving up 12,000 plus Malaysian ringgit, and I'm just like, bro. So it's a lot, and when you're kind of running your own company and everything, it's like I said, it starts off as a fantasy, and then it quickly goes. And when your logistics come in, you're like, no. So it's something that I'm working towards, but it can be quite scary.
Yeah. No, I get that. Like this is a part of my fantasy of moving back to Malaysia is like cost of living. I'm like, oh my god, I could probably live with the living expenses for me and my son to live there, not counting housing costs because I'm expected to buy a place to live in, would be like between $1,200 and $1,500 US a month. I was like, oh, that's so easy. So that fantasy, like that fantasy of how easy things will be for me to move back, like once I'm actually settled and back, is absolutely affecting my decisions today of like, yeah, just keep going. Like it's literally the only thing that I feel like I have any control over right now because of how tough the job market is. And yeah, so I get it.
Money, 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 money.
Mike?
I don't know if you could see, but Brazos he's not sure if he wants to jump into my lap right now or not. He keeps like peering up into my lap. I don't know if you could see that, but his head kept popping up. Anyway, well, I mean, the obvious one for me is the fantasy of working full time in the entertainment industry, whether that's being a host or a producer on a TV show, whether that is, getting cast in the next Steven Spielberg movie, whatever. Like, what's the dream? So years ago, I had an opportunity to meet Penn and Teller, and they told me, as everybody does, I asked them for a little advice, and they said, create your own opportunities, which I have. Create your own luck, basically. And so I've, over the years, I've taken that to heart. I've tried to create my own opportunities, and I think I've done okay. Not wildly successful, but, looking at where I came from, little dumb kid from Oil City, Pennsylvania, who has very little experience and all the ambition. I think I've done okay for myself. But of course, we all want the apex. We all want to sit on top of the mountain that we perceive. So,
unless you have that fear of success.
Unless you have the fear of success. But that's sometimes you don't know that you have that fear until you get there, and then you look around and go, "Oh shit, I'm responsible for this now." And you either rise to the challenge or you fail miserably.
Oh, that's like having kids. Like, oh shit, I'm responsible for this now.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It affects my decisions today because I'm working a part-time job that doesn't pay anything, and I'm doing a lot of work on it, and a lot of my time goes into this other passion project that I'm trying to turn into a career. So yeah, a lot of time is spent in this, and who knows, maybe it's a fool's errand, maybe it is,
as long as you're enjoying yourself and you're getting something out of it.
Yeah, it's building other skills, and maybe nothing will ever come of this. That's what I have to face.
It's interesting you say that because I feel like it's making me think about like me doing this whole live stream podcast as well. Like I'm building skills doing this, I suppose, but I'm not making any money from it. But I did have a friend this past weekend ask me if I would be interested in producing a show for her because of my current experience doing this and the fact that we have a good relationship and she trusts me. I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds like it. And like she would pay me for it as well. So I'm just like,
what's easy to do, Dominica? It's easy to do 10 episodes of a YouTube show. You know what's hard to do? 40 episodes
Mhm.
of the YouTube
Holy
channel.
shit. I
Yeah.
did not expect to still be doing this after 40 episodes, like weekly. Like, there have been a couple of weeks that we had off from this show, but those weeks we did the like talking about movie stuff. So
Yeah.
it's not like, like I've still been doing this for over 40 weeks in a row now. And yeah,
It's literally the number on my shirt.
genuinely
4
did
and
not
a 0.
did not expect to still be going this long. So yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, I felt like there are some things I feel like I could have been spending more time like cutting clips together and doing more to promote this show, but I always was also like, man, but I should be spending this time putting in effort into applying for jobs that's actually going to pay me, kind of stuff. So when my friend said, hey, would you be interested in producing something for me and I would pay you, I'm like, finally I can actually do this stuff, like learn how to do this stuff for some, like I
Professionally,
get
yeah.
paid for it
Mm.
to do it for somebody else. And then like I'm like, you don't have to worry about paying me as much as what you think it's worth, because like I will be learning as I go as well. And then as I get better, we can bump up the rate or whatever. But like, I don't want to charge too much, but I don't feel like as confident in stuff just yet. But like, this is like a few months down the line. It's probably not going to be something I do until after I've actually settled in Malaysia and stuff. And she's got a lot of planning that she's going to have to do and kind of nut things out. So there's no guarantee that it's actually going to happen. But the fact that she even thought to ask me based on the fact that I've been doing this, it means a lot, because it's not something that I expected to get out of doing this show.
Good for you, man. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Next question.
No, next comment.
Next comment.
My dad does have another comment for us here. My dad just sent me via messenger a DC comic cover with Stupendous Man leading the DC Justice League. Okay, hang on. Let me
That's pretty dope.
pull it up and see if I can bring it up on. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, Stupendous Man.
Oh, that's dope. Oh, that's so cool.
Which one is Stupendous Man?
The one in front.
Yeah, the little guy.
The
little
wee
guy.
man. The wee man. There you go.
Can you get it even closer?
This little guy.
Oh,
That's
that's hilarious.
Yeah. So that was
He
me.
said-
Funny.
He says, half a day on the team and I'm already the MVP, which of
Yes,
course
he
means
is.
most valuable player, right? There you go.
Well done, Frank. Well done.
Bringing up the references to help us out. All right. Next question.
Next
Sorry?
question. Maybe that should be it. Instead of next question, it's next question.
Question.
Is
I
that
like
what you
saying
did? That's what you just said?
That's how I like to say it. Question. How has future-focused thinking, positive or negative, impacted your ability to enjoy the present moment?
Future-focused thinking impacted your ability to enjoy the present.
Okay, I'm going to answer this question based on the last relationship that I was talking about as well. With my desire for a committed relationship with him and my fear that it wasn't going to happen. So my future-focused thinking about what I wanted and thinking that it wasn't going to happen did impact my ability to enjoy the present moment, because I kept thinking about how do I make that future thing happen rather than just like sitting with things. And that wasn't all the time, obviously, but there were definitely times that I was having conversations based on wanting that desired future rather than just enjoying what was happening in that particular moment or in,
I don't know if this answers the question, and I'm not so sure I even have like fully formed idea.
Mm.
Um,
Talk it out. We'll figure it out as you go.
so years ago, uh, there was a high-ranking Mormon church leader who gave a talk about uh, learn from the past, live in the present, prepare for the future. And this is not a new concept. He didn't coin this idea, this concept that's been around for a very long time. But learn from the past, live in the present, prepare for the future. Um, and there's just that framing of that concept really struck me, and it's always stuck with me. Um, of how um, we can't do anything about the past. Um, all we can do is enjoy where we're at and just enjoy the moment. But also, like, learn from the past and ask yourself now in the present, what do we want? And then start setting small goal. I hate the term like make small goals. You have your big goal, and then make small goals to reach that big goal. I think in theory that thought process works, but in practicality, I think it falls apart. Um, I prefer the more bastardized version of that, which is just make choices. Just
Mhm.
make choices, and hopefully you can start making choices that will get you to where you want to be. Um, Now I'm an improviser. By almost by definition, that means staying present in the moment. And same thing as yourself, Dominica. We have been trained to do scene work that happens in the here and
Yeah.
now. Let's not do scene work about what happened before.
Let's not talk about what we used to do. Let's not talk about what we're going to do. Let's do.
react to each other right now in the
Yeah.
moment, right? Um, and that has translated into my everyday life. This is why improv it's a life philosophy.
Oh yeah.
It's a tool. It's a life tool, as opposed to just being a theatrical art form. But there's so much about my life that I live in the moment. Maybe too much.
Mm.
I don't. I don't really want to admit that because that maybe means I'm doing life wrong. But I stay so present in the here and the now that um, I mean, we all make decisions based on what we want to have happen in the future, preparing for the future. Um, we're preparing for a little baby girl to enter our lives. And so hopefully we're getting those pieces put together well enough. But also, there's a lot that we can't prepare for in the future besides stockpiling diapers. I mean, there's not a ton that we can do. So it's just kind of, wait for her to get here and make those decisions. So I don't think I've really answered the question, but I think that's the best that I got.
Your answer is basically you don't actually like your future folks thinking is not present most of the time. You're more likely to live in the present moment regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are roundabout way of getting there.
I mean, I have similar experiences, which is why like I had that example was that I shared was like my best example of it because I don't, like I said in the beginning, I don't have a very good ability to think long term about what's going to happen or what I want to have long term. And part of that is also because my mum died when she was 50. I'm turning 42 this year. So I'm like I had been living with the expectation that I'm going to die young like my mum. So I can't plan long term because I'm like, I just want to fit in as much as I can along the way until I die at a young age like my mom did. And so a lot of my decisions are like brick by brick, day by day. What can I do right now? Because I genuinely do not know what I really want to be doing, what I really want to be spending my time doing, aside from watching entertainment, like
Yeah.
and enjoying myself. But that, like, I can't make a living doing that. And so like it's that makes it really hard. Like I feel really stuck about what it is I really want to be doing right now. And like if it wasn't for this podcast, I would have zero routine whatsoever. And I know we're not even always on the same night every week. But it's a routine enough for
Yeah.
me that I at least have something in my life that I can look forward to, that I'm doing every week. But otherwise, like, it's just like I said, step by step. Like, what can I pack today? Or well, I can't pack anything right now because I have no packing paper. I guess I'll go into my son's closet and sort through some shit in there, see if I can find some missing
Minecraft
things.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. That wasn't in his closet. That was on a desk that had piles of paper and stuff. It's like, shit, man. And the only reason that the box was open is because he had a friend over at one point. It was like, hey, we should build this. And he opened the box and they never actually built anything apart from like one like Minecraft figure, I think. They didn't never put the other pieces together.
Those jerks.
So seriously. And then there's another Minecraft set where I found the figures for the set, but I didn't find the Lego pieces. Not sure where those are. Don't know if I'm going to find the sets. We'll see. Yes. Sharon's turn to answer the question.
So I think it's one thing that really kind of comes to mind for me was following my recovery from Guillain-Barré syndrome. Just to refresh, so it's an autoimmune disorder, which meant that I was paralyzed from the neck down. And I had a short-term memory of 3 minutes. I would pass out, and then the memory cycle would start all over again. And I remember thinking, like, gosh, will I be bedridden forever? That was the concern. And I mean, it was horrible. I had to be literally spoon-fed. I had to be bathed. I had to be changed, and it was awful. And I remember one time breaking down in front of some of the hospital physiotherapists. I was just in a state where I was like, this is who I'm going to be forever. I didn't do anything wrong to, like, I don't know what I did to deserve this. And I was very, very despondent. But like as time went on, because I was an in-house patient in the ICU for 6 months. That's how long it took me. And you notice little victories. Like before, I couldn't stand to get out of my wheelchair. Now I'm walking 2 feet. You know, like little things where, like before I couldn't even put my spoon, pick up something, put it in my mouth. Then later on, I was like, look at me, I'm using a knife and a fork. Little things like that. And it's cheesy, I know, but you really have to celebrate the little moments, because the little moments are what you notice when you get to your ultimate goal. And like even things where I was watching a TV show and one of them asked me, what happened in the previous episode? And I remembered everything. And I just remember just going, So, yeah, I mean, even though, let's say, there are positive moments, negative moments can come into where you kind of fall back onto your old habits. But the positive definitely outweighs the negatives. And that I remember thinking right then, I was like, okay, maybe my life has changed, yes, but that doesn't mean that the old me is gone. So, yeah.
Lame. Just kidding.
Wow, Mike.
That's actually very beautiful.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a very good answer. I liked that. for sure. And
Faux
I,
show.
and I don't know why, but it was making me think of another answer for this previous question. What's a fantasy or fear you hold right now about the future, and how does it affect your decisions today? I feel like, so I've been, despite the fact that, I'm unemployed and am planning on relocating, I've been buying a few movies that I would like to have in my collection. And part of it is because I'm fantasize about watching those movies or showing those movies to friends in Malaysia. Like, I like, a month or so ago, I think I sent a WhatsApp message to my friend Puppy Zach, who has been on this show before and some of my other live streams. I was like, hey, what are some movies that you really would like to see but you can't see in Malaysia? And he gave me 2 titles, one of which I'd seen, which was Sinners, which was released there, but apparently some scenes were cut out or reduced or whatever, and so he wanted to see the actual version.
Do we get to know the name of the movie?
I said Sinners.
Oh, I missed it. I didn't hear.
Sorry, no. So Sinners was one of them, and so I'm like, oh, I'll see if I can get a good deal on that one. And then the other one was Anora, which I hadn't seen, but I had access to Hulu at the time and it was on there. So I'm like, I guess I'll watch it first. So I ended up buying copies of both of them because I'm like, I want to be nice to my friend and be able to bring some joy to, this is the thing. Like, I feel like access to physical media copies of things in Malaysia is more limited than it is in the United States, and so that's kind of impacted my decision about those decisions to make sure I have certain things to be able to. And I think it's also kind of connected to a fear also, right? Like, my fear is that streaming is going to be too expensive or unreliable in the future. And so I want to have those physical copies so I can still have access to those things or those movies or TV shows in the future, in case or just so I don't have to rely on streaming or losing access. Like, what if God forbid the internet explodes and we no longer have the access to the internet that we currently do today? At least I have a bunch of entertainment that I can now if we lose electricity as well, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
I have a copy into that same regard. I have a copy of I think it was 1978 Angela Lansbury, George Hearn to DVD of them doing Sweeney Todd live on stage together.
Wow.
Oh, that's dope.
So good. It's so good. And so that when I saw it, that's the kind of thing where I'm like, I don't care how much this costs. I'm buying this because you can't find it anywhere on the internet. And to your point, if the internet explodes, this is a piece of art that so easily could get lost in the crowd.
The other thing is the fear of censorship in the future worries me as well. Seeing how the way that the US is going with a certain desire of censorship of certain things. I'm genuinely concerned that some things are either going to be edited so that they're not what they are like today, because we've already seen that happens even without censorship. The whole Star Wars who shot first thing, right?
Also, the movie Splash on Disney Plus. I know we're getting way off topic. the movie Splash with Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah. There was that whole sequence with her running into the ocean On DVD, you see her bare butt. On Disney Plus, they digitally elongated her hair so that it covers over her butt crack.
Oh, wow.
No.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like, that's such a minor thing, but it's representative of a larger
Yeah.
Yeah.
concept.
So even if it seems like this is just a small thing, but like genuinely, if you're someone that gives a shit and gives a damn about movies,
Yeah.
and have a long history of that sort of thing, like being able to preserve the things that you love and continue to have access to it even in the event of catastrophe, it's really important to film buffs.
Hey, Dominica.
Yeah.
Next question.
No, it's gonna be next to comment.
Comment.
My
Next
dad has said
How many
something.
more questions do we have?
Hang on, let me check.
4,000.
That was I think we have,
4,000.
no. I think we have 2 more questions. I think. All right. Chat. My dad says, what's this? Oh, it's a continuation of what my dad previously said about my mum. So I think, yeah, my mum went to complete her master's, organized remodels for 2 old houses, designed a solar home, and helped design a smaller 2 classroom and offices and kitchen that made the newspapers and more. I didn't even know that my mum did all of those things. I knew she completed her master's.
What's your mom's name?
Her name was Bev.
Way to go, Bev.
All done, Bev.
All before she was 50 when she died of pancreatic cancer. So yeah, she accomplished, like, this is the thing, like when you have such an accomplished parent like I did in my mum, it's really hard to live up to those standards or expectations. Like you feel like you should be living up to at least the standard that she made for herself, and I don't feel like I did.
But you can't live that way because that's
Yeah.
something that happens to everyone. The fact is, everyone thinks we need to surpass the previous generation, where 9 times out of 10, that's just not going to
It's
happen.
just not possible these days with the way that boomers have destroyed things for the future
Yeah, thanks a lot,
generations of the
Frank.
economy.
Yeah, cheers, Frank.
Yeah, I think my dad was not quite in the ability to make those sorts of things happen. But anyway, so my dad says a book she recommended, she being my mum, I assume, the Principle-Centered Leadership by Stephen Covey, who interviewed A-list company leaders.
I am friends with Stephen Covey's nephew. Geez, I haven't talked to him in years and years and years and years. But yeah, I know him.
That's dope.
Cool.
We used to live together for a short time.
Wow. Okay, my dad says improve or improv is the improv is the risk-taking part of life, which means confronting fears. The present moment is the decision time, covers book point out, those lists or goals are daily evaluated. Yeah, like one of my favorite improv tenets that I like to follow is follow the fear, which is essentially about confronting the fears. But like whatever you're afraid of, lean into it and continue on that path. Yeah.
Before the People's Improv Theater's main stage closed during COVID, they used to have "Follow the Fear" painted on the wall of the main theater.
That's awesome.
dope.
Follow the fear.
My other tenet that I live by is mistakes are gifts.
And they keep on giving.
That goes along with the no regrets motto
No
kind of thing.
regrets.
It's like,
No regrets. No regrets.
'Cause if you make a mistake, you learn from it, and that's the gift in it. The gift in the mistake.
There he is.
I got him. I caught a kitty.
You
He always
did
looks
it.
so unimpressed. He's just like, oh, this is my life now.
Well, this has been Mr. Poopy Pants for the past few days.
Oh,
And
bless
it
him.
has not been pleasant for anyone, especially him.
Ooh.
Oh, look
Um,
When
at
he poops his pants, we gotta put him under the sink, and he does not enjoy that.
it. Yeah, sure.
All right. Next comment from my dad. He says, "Oh, okay. Improv is the risk-taking part of life." Wait, no, that.
Yeah, we just read that.
Why you said it twice? Okay, that's weird. Question instead of question fits today's theme.
It does indeed.
Why? Well, because it's quest.
Question.
Quest. I always like to say question, though. I think this is not the first time I've
Does it make you feel a lot more
pronounced it that
fancy?
way. It's like, I don't know. It's like sometimes there's just fun in mispronouncing words or saying it in a funny way.
Plenty of words
You know,
that I'm really mispronouncing.
I don't know if you guys seen the new Naked Gun film, but even if you haven't, it was in the trailer. I think the man's laughter instead of manslaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's so stupid. That's great.
She
So
went to jail
funny.
for man's laughter.
Quite the joke.
That was a funny movie.
Do you recommend The Naked Gun?
Oh yeah, I thought it was great. I enjoyed
Okay.
it.
Right.
Recommend it. It was the slowest 90-minute movie I've ever seen.
Slow how?
It's the whole movie. It just went by so slowly. It got
no.
dragged out.
Mm.
Wait, is that a good or a bad thing for you?
I thought it was a bad thing.
Ah,
Yeah.
Well, the good thing that came out of it is that at least now we know that Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson are an item, so that turned out well.
It's true.
Yep.
The
there you
jokes are
go.
so funny though, which is like I have this weird dissonance in my head because it went by so slowly and it was so dragged out. I feel like the story that they had crafted was an hour-long story that they just
Mhm.
put an extra 30 minutes of. Well, we need to get
Add
a
up.
little bit more juice out of this, and the jokes were so funny though.
Yeah.
It also had too much of a cinematic, like a modern filmmaking cinematic feel to it. I feel like it needed to look like a television show
Got you.
for the
That makes
comedy.
sense.
So that's fair, like a cop drama kind of
Yeah,
thing.
Like Law and Order kind of thing.
yeah.
Police story.
Police Squad.
Yeah, police squad. There you go. I got it wrong. Because I could admit my mistakes. My dad has another comment for us here. Look up the Franklin Covey Daily Planner. It stands out as far more useful than most. Okay, I'm not good. I'm like daily planning is really like
I'm
not a thing for me.
Familiar with the Franklin Covey Daily Planner?
How you are?
I am.
Oh,
It's very popular in the Mormon circles.
there you go. All right, are we ready for our next question?
Question.
Can you recall a time when fantasizing about the future gave you motivation or courage you wouldn't have had otherwise?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like when I was really young, the talking to other girls was always a massive hit. Whether you're a kid or a teenager to a young adult, like even if you're like I distinctly remember being in the U.S. and I was at a fashion show, and I just saw someone and I just went, "The fuck it. I'm probably never going to see her again. And 9 times out of 10, we just walked away. I just walked up to her and said, excuse me, I just think you're extremely beautiful. I hope you're having a nice day. And I turned to walk away, and she literally grabbed me, and she's like, "You're not leaving after just saying that." And we had a great chat. So
That's amazing. Because
awesome.
normally, like, the stories that you hear about more often are the guys who like expect something from that rather than turning away, right? So yeah, maybe it was the fact that you were not planning on sticking around, you just wanted to say the thing that encouraged her to be like, hang on a minute. You're just gonna leave it there?
Yeah.
That's unexpected. Generally, guys are douchebags and continue to harass.
So there you go.
Huh.
Do you have an answer, Mike? Or
Not at the moment.
Okay, I will go then. Yes, fantasizing about what life would be like without my ex-husband in my life, for sure, gave me motivation and courage that I wouldn't have otherwise in order to end my my marriage. But you know what the hairline trigger was for me was when we were in an argument, and he was threatening divorce, and I shot back at him, "You can't afford to divorce me." And then that flipped a switch in my brain, and I was like, oh shit. I might actually be able to get myself out of this situation because he can't afford to like pay for a lawyer, like all this kind of thing. Like maybe I can actually get out of this situation. So that was like that. The fantasizing about the fact that he couldn't afford to divorce me gave me the courage to kick him out of my life.
There you go.
Oh, this is a really hard one for me, because in terms of motivation, I've never needed motivation to find the courage to do a thing, and I don't say that to be cocky. I say that because anyone who knows me
It's just part of your personality.
It's part of my personality. Anyone who knows me knows not to dare me to do something because I will do it. Just for the bit of doing the gag, right? Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know.
You don't have an answer. Well, I have an additional answer that's related to an earlier story. So as I mentioned earlier, with my fear of my Malaysian ex running away from me, the catastrophizing outcome with that led to me staying away from Malaysia for as long as I did. But then the fantasizing about the future, fantasizing about the possibility of being able to talk to him again and being able to reconcile, gave me the motivation and the courage that I wouldn't have had otherwise in order to actually push myself to go back to Malaysia. So, you know, two sides of the same coin, fear versus fantasy.
Yeah. Huh.
Anyway,
next question.
Comment from my dad. He says, ancient Greek sculptures have fig leaves added over time.
Oh.
Yes. That is because of the prudish nature of a Protestant king in England, I believe, who, I can't remember if it was him or if it was his wife or if it was the people at large that strong-armed him, but I think it was the king himself, one of the King Henrys, if I'm not mistaken, to try and create that more puritanical society. Oh, genitalia is disgusting, and it needs to be hidden and covered So we're going to put those fig leaves over everyone's genitalia.
And that led to a multi-generational timeline of repressed people of feeling uncomfortable about sexuality and
Yep.
sex.
Yep.
Ugh.
Felt uncomfortable.
All right. Another comment from my dad. He says, "My gift is seeing others' gifts and encouraging. I tend not to point out my successes."
Good for you, man. Humility is a very underrated thing.
Yeah, I've actually I'm don't have a lot of humility. I have been accused of being boastful in the past, which has caused me to shut down from sharing some of my positive experiences and news sometimes, which has led to other people like having no idea about things that I've accomplished and actually like, clueless about things. But at the same time, I'm also like, what, like, why can't I talk about my successes? Like, what's wrong with that? Like, it's not. I hate this idea of boasting because the way I share isn't about boasting. It's more like, hey, I did a thing. I'm proud of myself. And I think that more people should be proud of themselves when they accomplish things. And it sucks that like we're in a culture where we're kind of discouraged from sharing those wins,
Well, it's tough, right? Because you do have some people who boast just for boasting's sake.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so whenever somebody else wants to share something that they're proud of, it comes off in one of three ways. Congratulations, like genuine congratulations. It has the appearance of being boastful because the person who is on the receiving end of that can't do it themselves and they feel jealous or or a different form of jealousy, and because they can't do it themselves, they need to lash out and take it out on you, saying you're being boastful, and they're trying to take that away from you.
Yeah.
And then C, it's just a complete misunderstanding, misconnect of just,
Yeah, it's the projection of onto other people. I think I think we've talked about projection before, is like this idea that like, oh, if my motivation for doing this thing is this, then other people's motivation for doing the same thing is also this, even though the motivation is probably completely different. Like, I can't talk about my accomplishments because if I did, I would be boastful. So if other people are talking about their accomplishments, then they're boasting, right?
That's the way the cookie crumbles. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next question.
Question.
This is the last question that I have,
Last
I believe.
question.
What's one future story you've told yourself that still influences how you see your life today?
This is something I can. It's funny this question has come up because I was actually thinking about that this morning.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like I've always had this fantasy, and I remember like telling my mom about it quite often. I like the idea that you know how everyone thinks about when you're a kid, when I'm super successful adult and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna own this and do that and blah blah blah, blah and everything. And my idea was if and if when I became a very uber successful writer, the plan was for me to open up a dog sanctuary in Malaysia where
Cool.
but like it would be like like pretty much essentially like a kind of dog safe haven and spa where dogs can like live freely, do whatever they want to do, are well looked after, and and that was the plan. I remember my mum was saying, "Oh, so she would humor me a lot." She was like, "Okay, so where would you actually do this? Because you know for a fact buying land in Kuala Lumpur city centre is not going to be cheap." And so I was like, "All right." So we have an apartment up in this place called Genting Highlands, which is like a it's a beautiful place.
Are you sure that's not Scotland?
No, Genting Highlands, and
It sounds very Scottish.
it does. And like basically, like the air there is so nice and pure, and the food is great, and people are nice, despite the tourists and the people going up to the casino. It's actually lovely with and it's very very safe. I remember thinking, okay, I'll buy a wee small farm there. And I remember thinking, okay, so what my mom would be like, okay, so what would you have in the farm? I'm like, she's like, would you have any cows? I'm like, no, you're convoluting the story, Mom. Only dogs, only dogs. You know, that kind of thing. So that was, I remember that's something that she and I would always talk about, and she and I would always drive up to Ginting to an apartment there at least once a month, so that memory would always stick through, and we'd always be driving past different places, and she'd be like, "Oh, that's a nice plant you could put in your little farm." I'm like, "Yeah, maybe that'll do. Maybe we'll use this color," and that's something that's always stuck with me. So, yeah, that's something that I do want to hopefully. If I do have a lasting legacy, I want it to be that.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
Is it just because like how much you love dogs? Is it because there are a lot of stray dogs in Malaysia? Like the only thing that I really am aware of Anjing dogs is that they're haram. So I'm wondering if that's maybe semi-related to that, or
not particularly. I think most Malaysians, in my experience, I mean, like the contemporary younger ones, are very very chill. It's just that there's a lot of street animals, unfortunately. Like I'm sure, like you noticed this when you were here. Probably see a lot of stray dogs and what have you. And I remember thinking, like, I mean, like as an avid dog lover, it breaks my heart to see a street dog, and you know that you're a dog lover is like when you see you feel more empathy for stray dogs than you do for the homeless. I know that sounds like a really horrible thing to say, but I remember thinking, okay, at least a person, they can look after themselves. There's avenues for them to give them support. But what does a dog have? You know, a dog doesn't have a union. It doesn't have all this kind of things. And yeah, so that's something that I've always wanted, and that's something that I'll always do, no matter where I am, whether I'm in Malaysia, America, Timbuktu, who knows where I'll be, right? But that's always going to be the plan. Is if I do have enough money saved up, because I've actually looked into this. It wouldn't be cheap, because for running operational costs, you're looking at a bare minimum of 5 figures per month.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be generating any kind of income with that
At
sort
all.
of thing either, right?
Right? Yeah, because presumably, like what? Like, I mean, aside from the goal for them is to get adopted, right? So you're not going to charge people.
Yeah.
The only thing maybe you can do is maybe you might charge people to come in and patronize and look around and make it more of a
you could have like I don't know if you've heard of cat cafes, that they're kind of a thing in some places, but if you made it like a dog cafe, or if you also had like a side thing where, you know how there like are, you know, day camps for dogs and like dog hotels where they can stay while their owners are going vacation somewhere. Like if that was a side thing that you could have as well as looking after the strays for them to be adopted, then maybe you could have some income that way. But that's like, I don't know. Is that something you've considered?
Yeah. I mean, like it's like I said, it's the pipeline dream. Everyone thinks about, like when I'm an uber successful retiree, I'm going to buy my own island. And I'm gonna
I've never fantasized about having an island.
Oh, yeah.
I think I fantasized more about like having communal like property where all of my friends can come live in the same place.
I think
know I
that's
have
called a cult, Dominica.
no. I don't want it as a cult because nobody's like in charge, but just like because it's like all of my friends are so dispersed around the world, right? It would be nice, and like even in the Bay Area here in San Francisco Bay Area, living in Oakland, I don't see my my local friends very often because it feels far. I tend to stick to Oakland most of the time, and that's why I haven't been seeing very many people. So it'd be nice to have like a plot of land, like a large like acreage where everyone, like all of my friends, like or a big community of friends can come and live in the same, their own houses in the same property. I think like Puppy Zach was talking about this with me on one of my other streams where he was suggesting he'd also suggested that I could get an apartment in the condo that he lives in, just because he also was fantasizing about being able to live that close to friends. It's just nice to not even have to like walk very far to see your friends. Like you don't have to get in the car, you don't have to take public transport, you don't have to, fly in a plane to go and see your friends. It would be nice to just, because I feel like that's something that we've kind of lost as time has gone on, is there's not a strong sense of community in the neighborhoods these days. In the past, like people were neighborly and friends with their neighbors, like it just happened, and that doesn't really happen anymore. And I was just watching this movie last night where that was kind of a thing. The film was called Till There Was You, and it was about this woman who ended up moving into this kind of small apartment complex-ish sort of thing that was designed by a famous LA architect from the early days. And everyone in that complex became friends and knew each other, which was just not something that was that common even in the 90s when it was set. Right? So yeah, I don't know where that kind of, maybe it's all the stranger danger stuff that we were brought up with that has kind of kept us away from having those friendly neighbors sort of stuff. I mean, my neighbors, the ones I have met, are friendly, but I don't consider them friends. It's just like if I've had to interact with them for some reason, they've been nice, but I don't have, I don't like, hey, can we get together and hang out? Can we have a barbecue? Like it's not like you see in the movies where that was just a thing that people did.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like when you're a kid, it's almost very pure hearted to want to like knock on the neighbor's door and just go, "Hey, can your kid come out and play?" That kind of thing. And even as a teenager, when I went to boarding school in England, like we all had individual like these group houses, and if you want to speak to your friend, you just walk down the hall to his room, knock on the door. Or a friend on the other side of the campus, you just run across. So yeah, I mean, it's something that's I think is definitely been lost. Mostly, I think it's a mixture between safety and maybe privacy, because you know how people get iffy about that nowadays. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think privacy has definitely become more of a thing, which is weird because like no one has privacy on the internet. Like there's no such thing as privacy anymore.
Yep. Well, that's it. But that's intentional giving up privacy, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. That's true. All right. I've not got an answer for this yet, and I don't know about you, Mike, but I'm going to bring up. We have a new person in the audience, so I want to bring up some comments here. Daniel is back.
Daniel!
Welcome back, Daniel.
Mike, are you cutting your cat?
Yes.
Revenge.
I was like, what is he? I was like,
He has these incredible maps
oh no.
under his art.
Ooh,
So I'm trying to cut out what I can.
Bless you.
Okay, so Daniel says Mike's going to have a future story where he is tampering with his with your shirt, Mike, and making it say "fantastic foreplay."
Oh,
I think we might have a marketing genius on our hands.
go for it. Go for it.
That actually would make a really, really good logo. Fantastic foreplay.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic foreplay.
Look, foreplay is can be better than the actual act of sex itself. So there you go.
Oh, you're right.
Daniel was responding to you guys calling my situation a cult. She's just talking about a commune. It's not a cult, and she starts offering people Kool-Aid. Yes, there you go. I'm not going to be giving people Kool-Aid because Kool-Aid is disgusting.
Have you heard about Klantu, our savior? Yeah.
I don't want to be worshipped. That's the thing. Like, I just cannot imagine people and that's sort of like the fear of success aspect, right? I don't want to be so successful that there are people out there worshipping me because I'm like, I don't want
You
those
don't want to
kinds
be like
of
a
accolades.
Joel Osteen.
I don't want to what?
You don't want to be like a Joel Osteen.
Who's that?
Oh, he's the leader of a mega church in Texas.
Yeah, no.
Is he the guy with the bug eyes? Every time he talks, he's always like,
No.
no.
Joel Osteen's like a good-looking guy.
Oh, fair enough.
Well, that's how they get the audience, right?
Yeah.
Like
Gotta bring 'em in.
charisma and attractiveness. My dad also has another comment for us here. He says, relationship experts point out not to use the divorce word in arguments because it places an idea that ends up leading to breakups.
Exactly.
Watching women's TikToks fit this example.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I've definitely...
Ugh.
I've definitely seen advice about not suggesting divorce and breaking up in arguments, and I agree. Like I never brought it up in arguments, but like anyway, I do like. It was always going to be an option when like my ex-husband was afraid of the possibility of divorce, but like. I can't remember if I've mentioned this on stream before, but there was another time, like I think must have been like 2015, where my ex-husband like threatened, like, and this was when we weren't even like really bad in our relationship at the time, but he was like, oh, if you ever divorce me, you're not getting any alimony, right? Like that was kind of a threat.
I don't think he has a choice in the matter.
I'm not getting any alimony.
Hmm.
He definitely stuck to that, and I feel like that has absolutely played a factor into why he has continued to not live up to his potential, because he's wanted to avoid having to pay me alimony, and I genuinely he should have been able technically by California law I should have been entitled to spousal support for the rest of my life from him because our marriage was a long-term marriage of 10 years or more. And that's something that is kind of required. Like the spouse that was the non-earner or the lower earner is entitled to spousal support for the rest of their life. Have not seen a cent in any of that. There's no agreement in that. It's still an open issue if we ever get into a place where he actually makes enough money for me to claim it. But we've been divorced for 5 years. I don't think I'm ever going to get any spousal support. So I kind of had to live with the idea, like make decisions based on the idea that I was never going to receive any kind of financial support from him in that capacity. It's only been child support, which obviously goes to my children's expenses. despite the fact that my ex-husband claimed that I used child support to fund my trip to Malaysia. Like, dude, do you know how much money I was making? I could afford a trip to Malaysia or multiple trips to Malaysia without child support. You fucker. Especially when my last trip back, I used frequent flyer miles to fly there. Like, it's just
Nice.
it cost taxes. Anyway, we're kind of getting off topic here. Daniel says, Dominica, I don't want to be worshipped or put on a pedestal, but small altars are fine. Maybe. No, but it's true though. Like, I genuinely, so many times, like so many relationships, I've had guys put me on a pedestal. Like, obviously not literally, but like metaphorically, they've treated me as if I'm this perfect person, and it puts me in a position of feeling like I have to be perfect and I can't make any mistakes. And I want to be in a relationship where I'm allowed to make mistakes. I'm allowed to fuck up and not have to worry that I'm going to be abandoned because I don't live up to the expectations of perfection because I'm on a pedestal.
That's the thing. I think if you're always worried that about what the other person thinks, it might change their impression of you. You're gonna be walking on eggshells forever, and that's a horrible thing to want to live.
Yeah, that was something that I was dealing with in my last relationship, and it wasn't specifically related to this. It was also like, it was partially related to being put on a pedestal by him, but it was also because of my past trauma with my ex-husband's expectations of like if I did anything wrong, then I was going to be punished for it. And so like those combination of things is like, oh, well, things are not gonna work out, or yeah, it sucks being in the position of walking on eggshells. And I don't want to be in that kind of relationship again. And it's something for me to work on though, like, because that was definitely I could have said something about like, or said something more about, hey, I just want to like have a conversation about, you know, things that I've done wrong, and to feel safe that it's okay that I make mistakes. And the more that I'm able to vocalize those things and know that you're not going to leave me for them, the safer I'm going to feel, right? But I wasn't in a position where I in myself was comfortable bringing it up, regardless of anything that that was going on from him or what I was getting from him. It was like an internal thing as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Daniel has another comment for us here. He says, perhaps if he'd had enough self-awareness and selflessness to support you in other ways, he wouldn't have had to take shots using money, or brought up supporting you financially by being apart from you. Yep.
Perhaps.
Yep.
Perhaps.
But he was not interested in any kind of, yeah, this is the thing, like, why, one of the reasons why I'm like have this thing about men's wanting to or needing to feel needed, like, because of my relationship with my ex-husband, where I felt like I was put in the position where he made me need him financially because he needed to be needed, that now I've like gone like way far in the opposite direction, where I don't want to be in a position where I'm with a man who needs me to need him. I'd like to be like him to want me to want him. That's different from need. I think we had a conversation about that. Wants versus need
you to want
on another stream.
I need you to need me.
So, yes, if anyone is interested in my discussion around wants versus needs in relationships, I'm pretty sure that's a title of one of our previous streams. So just go into our, the archives of of the podcast live stream. All right, back to the last question.
Last question
that Mike and I have not answered yet. What's one future story you've told yourself that still influences how you see your life today?
A future story. I don't know if I've ever told myself a future story, but I have a negative uh, uh, perspective, maybe not perspective, but um, I've just seen myself in a negative light for the vast majority of my life. That I'm not good enough, that I'm not smart enough, that I'm not good looking, that I'm
Well,
not
that's
this,
clearly a lie.
that I'm not that. Oh, I know. I'm beautiful.
Sexy bitch, baby. Yeah.
I'm beautiful. Oh, you love me.
That's what I need to be doing.
Um,
That's
no,
something I've been doing too much of. Yeah.
Britney Spears. No, I've just always had this narrative in my head, growing up from, you know, people around me, influences here, people at school there, just telling me that I can't do blank, that I'm doing it wrong, whatever it is, that I'm constantly getting in the way, I'm getting in other people's way, uh, like I'm not doing it correctly, all this stuff, right? And so I've just years and years and years of being told that, like, I'm not good enough, and that I'm not going to amount to anything, and that I'm doing it wrong. I'm living life wrong. I'm making decisions wrong. Uh, has like resulted in this underlying belief that I don't like myself, uh,
Mhm.
because how could anyone how could I like myself if other people don't like me, and how could people like me if I'm a fuck up, you know?
Mhm.
So and I know it's not true. Like, none of those things are real, but it's that voice in the back of my head that has just been years and years and years uh, of being told that, like, you're doing it wrong. So anyway, that's kind of that influences my life.
Yeah, I can see that. Like all of so much of your answer, I'm just like, I didn't know how to answer this question, and now I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm similar, but more more than like the general life fuck up stuff is more in the romantic sense, right? Like
Yeah.
as I said before, you know one of the reasons I got married as young as I did was because I had this future story that like no one was going to want to be with me, no one was going to want to marry me because I just sucked, like no one was attracted to me like that.
Right.
And I think like that story has been pervasive in my life, right? Like even as, like as I was married, probably like less so while I was married because he was, it was fine for some of the time. But it was also like I'm sure he's only stays with me because he likes the status of it, not because he likes me. And, and so yeah, and like when I got divorced, I had this idea of like no one's gonna want to be with me because now I'm a single mother, and like what man wants to get with a single mother? Like it's just like there's no I just felt like I had no prospects, right? And I think that this like and then also like with like how my ex-husband was so sure about like you have to keep the house tidy, and like I'm too messy to be able to live with someone who's like that. So I had this idea that like, well, I guess I'm just going to be single for the rest of my life because I don't think I could live with somebody because they're not going to be able to stand my mess because of executive dysfunction being autistic. And like I couldn't live with the stress of expectation of having to clean up so much. Now I could I could have told myself, hey, I'll just make sure I'm in a relationship with somebody who is happy to be the cleaner of the house, right? Rather than feel like the responsibility has to fall on my shoulders. No, I didn't tell myself that story. I'm like, no, I'm just better off not being with someone because I'm not going to find someone who is is going to be able to stand my mess. And yeah, so that's been my pervasive thinking. And then like, so because I feel like I'm a fuck up in relationships, it has led to decisions about how I handle things. But I guess today it's more about I spend a lot of time watching videos and reels on social media to help me get a better grasp of understanding about healthy relationships, secure relationships, things that I need to work on so that I can have the kind of relationship that I would like to have in the future, like those sorts of things, because I don't really want to stay single for the rest of my life. I can handle it if that is, what life gives me, but that's not really what I want. And now that like my daughter is 18 and looking at moving back to Australia, so I'm not going to be living with her anymore. It'll be just me and my son. And my son actually cares more about cleaning nowadays than I do.
Good.
And and he's done that of his own choice. I haven't forced him. He's just been like, I read that you should vacuum the house like once a week if you want to be able to walk barefoot I'm like, I've been walking barefoot in my house like, without the house being vacuumed for months, right? But he's like, oh no. He was like wearing slippers, but like he wants to go barefoot in the house, like, so I'm gonna vacuum. So he did the vacuuming all of his own choice. And he keeps up with his own laundry. He keeps up with the dishes that he's responsible for, because we each have like our own dishes responsibilities. So, I'm like, yeah, I think I can handle maybe it'll be easier for me to date as a single mother with just one kid who is actually tidy or trying to be more clean.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. He's 15 now. Like his birthday was a couple of weeks ago, and man, 15. My reaction to him being 15 is like, now he's finally at the age where he can watch MA rated films in Australia on his own. MA 15 plus in Australia. In the US, those are R-rated films, which require you to have a parent watching with you until the age of 17. Which to me is like so bizarre. Like Demon Slayer is rated R in the US, and I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I just bought tickets for us to go see the Infinity Castle movie, not even thinking about the rating, right?
That's so weird.
And like I look at the tickets like, it's rated R. Oh yeah, I forgot. It didn't even occur to me. I'm like, well, it's fine. I'm taking my son. He's allowed to come with me because I'm his parent. It's not a big deal. But it's so funny that it didn't even occur to me that might be an issue until after I'd bought the ticket. I let him watch the series on his own because I'm like, it's not that bad.
Oh, bless.
Anyway, I don't know what it's rated in Australia, that series or anything, but just it's so bizarre to me how different the ratings are in the US compared to Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, friends, I am covered in cat hair, and my eyelids are starting to go, ooh.
No worries. Well, we can finish off Daniel's questions after you leave, or comments after you leave, but because he's got a few things in there. If you do need to,
I think I might need to peace out and let you guys continue on in my stead.
No worries. We will finish with the chat comments without you, but thank you so much for joining us, Mike. As always.
1 o'clock on the East Coast, and I'm starting to. I also got up crazy early this morning, so.
That's right. Yeah. You did mention you had to get up pretty early today.
That's the whole reason we had to do it today, as opposed to yesterday.
Exactly. I'm glad that you were able to join us at all as a result of the switch. So thank you.
Lovely to see you. Happy fantasies and fears to all.
Bye, Mike.
How do you turn this thing off?
You're always like that. All right. Next comment from Daniel. He says, "God damn it! I was just about to quote Cheap Trick."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know Cheap Trick. What's Cheap Trick?
It's I believe they're a band. I think.
Okay. Maybe I am. Is that? Hang on. Oh, I do know them because only because of the song "The Flame," which I got stuck in my head for the longest time because I wasn't even familiar with the song, but I use YouTube Music and I ask my Google Home devices to play music for me, and so it was one of the songs that was consistently coming up through the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this one line in it in The Flame. It's like, you were the first, you'll be the last. And to me, made me think of just one relationship where I was somebody's first, and maybe they wanted me to be their last as well. So like that's my only connections. I don't know anything else about Cheap Trick apart from that song.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
All right. Then Daniel says, I'm going to have to veto the whole braid cutting idea. Wait, you like my braid? It's so long. Like I can wrap it around my neck and I can hang myself. Literally not a good idea, I know. But I could. Look, if I take my hair out, it comes down to my knees. Like that's how long it is. Like I think maybe even past my knees now. So that's why it's always up in the braid, because otherwise it would just be super messy all the time. All the time.
I feel you. Yeah.
All right. Daniel says, let's see. I vacuum, do dishes, laundry, clean the lint trap, and I put the seat down, but I refuse to wear the French maid outfits. Daniel, are you hitting on me again? You're suggesting that you'd be happy to do all of that. Look, I have the maid outfits. I don't remember if you watched that episode where I was wearing the maid outfit for this show. But if you've not seen the pictures, you can also dig them up on my Instagram. But I think you probably have to have an Instagram account to be able to go back far enough to see them. Which I know Daniel is not on the social media, so he probably cannot. So I suppose I can always email. No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna stop being suggestive back. All right. My dad says, how many of you have used mind mapping as a form of organizing self? Forming masterminds encourages success. More minds focusing on same goal is often better than one. I've never done mind mapping. Yeah, I've never looked into it. It's just like in general, it's hard for me to organize, even with tools, even if I know tools. Like my best organization is just making sure that I have put stuff in my calendar so I know when it's coming up. And reminders in my calendar, like do this thing today at this time. Like that's the most I can hope for. That's what works for me. And that's All right. Daniel says, Cheap Trick sang "I want you to want me," then Mike sang it, and he beat me to it.
Gotcha.
The "I want you to want me," that one.
Oh, right. I got you.
That was Cheap Trick as well? I know that song.
Huh.
Anyway, good to know. This is how not a music person I am. Like, I might be familiar with songs and have no idea who sang it. I might not even know what it's called. I'm probably unlikely to know what all the lyrics are. Unless there's something that I have, like, literally have a CD for, I may have no idea who the singer or band or whatever is associated, because I've always been way more of a movie person than I have been a music person. I think I've mentioned this on the stream before. Like, songs that I associate with movies are more likely to be clear in my mind of knowing who the singer is, or like have some kind of connection to things than like songs in general.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. All right, well, I think that's all the comments that we have, so I guess we will leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us and chatting with us. Always appreciate your comments and interactivity. Love that time. I'm sure we'll be back again next week sometime. Don't know what day yet. Probably back to Thursday, but we'll see. We'll see what Mike's schedule is like as well, to see what can work. And if you have watched us after the fact, thank you so much. Feel free to leave us some comments or questions in the comment section below, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and hit the notification bell so you can find out when we're live next, and keep an eye on the channel if you want an advance warning of when it's going to be, because I do put the details up slightly in advance sometimes a few days in advance, like I did this week, but not always. Sometimes it's the day before or the same day. But yes, until next time, do not let your fears or fantasies about the future get in the way of enjoying